god. Oh my god. I have been waiting forever. Where the heck is Quinn? Where is he? Oh my god. There he is. Dude, where have you been?
Oh, hey, thanks for bringing me in, man. It's been a while.
Where have you been? Where have you been?
I've been sitting in your thing waiting for you to let me into the show.
Wait, what? You've been here the whole
Yeah, I'm
time?
just sitting here off stage. Yeah, man, it's been a while. It's been like a month.
You've been in here.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Have you not eaten?
Yeah. Have you drank anything?
No. Oh my god, we're dying here. Welp. Don't worry, guys. We're not really dying or we're not thirsty. We're okay. We're back from our month-long hiatus at the DQ Frenzy, and immediately apologies must be said to everybody, mainly on me. Me and Quinn have been very busy boys. We've had some people get wisdom teeth taken out. We've had some people get sick. And then overall, we've been very, very busy boys. I wish I would have posted more TikToks and stuff, but after the Super Bowl, there wasn't really anything groundbreaking, to be honest. And I'm happy that we did the live stream. Shout out to people who watched that with me at my friend's house. With, if you guys know, Matt was in an episode and Ian was in an episode, along with a couple other people. And despite how the Super Bowl turned out, it was still a good live stream and we had a good time. But Quinn, a month later, I know this is way out of touch and way out of date because people move on from stuff in like 30 minutes. But a month later, do you have anything to say about the Super Bowl, halftime show, Seahawks dominance, anything?
To be honest, I don't remember much about the Super Bowl other than 3/4 of it being a blowout. I wish it would have been a better game, perhaps. Nice that the Seahawks won. Good for them. Yeah, halftime show. Hablo español.
Don't get us canceled.
I don't know. I know languages. I know more German and Spanish. Anyway, yeah, I didn't really care for the halftime show. I like things I can learn English or a language I understand. But
let's get Duolingo to sponsor us one day. You love that app.
4-year and 1-day streak for me.
Congratulations.
But yeah, nothing really crazy. What about you? What was your favorite standout moment from the poll?
Standout moment? I guess all the celebrities that were in Bad Buddy's halftime show. That's about it. And that like weird All-American halftime show. That was a little weird. And I don't think a lot of people. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the viewership being that good, and the crowd was kind of silent. I don't know. It was very awkward. And I like Kid Rock, but a little cringe there, to be honest. And you don't have to be a Bad Buddy fan, but that was just odd. And I'm nowhere near a Bad Buddy fan. Although I like the moment where he fell out of the roof, went through a table. I thought that was actually kind of unexpected and funny. But yeah, if you saw our live stream, we were bored. We were bored as hell. It was one of the more boring Super Bowls. Literally, when it was 12-0, it was over. The moment it was 12-0, you knew they weren't coming back, even when they scored to cut it to 19-7. They had no shot. And most people picked Seattle, unless you're from Boston, picked them to win the Super Bowl. Both of us picked them. It's no surprise. But they were the best team throughout the season, pretty much. Not on a consistent basis, but definitely in the latter half. So they definitely earned that Super Bowl. And Vikings and Jets fans are in hell. And that's what we love to see. But enough of that month-old news that you guys have been, I know, anticipating to wait to hear our thoughts of the Super Bowl for literally a month. But we got more NFL news, and you want to talk about great timing. Quinn, we just seem to be so lucky with timing with major news. Because really, not too much has happened. We'll get into a little bit of some older stuff in a bit. But what just happened today is that the Sonic brothers, or however they call that Lion running back duo, are no more because the Lions have traded running back David Montgomery to the Houston Texans in exchange for their O-line Drew Scruggs and multiple draft picks. Quinn, what are your thoughts on them getting rid of Montgomery with how good of a duo they've been? And the fact, too, that Montgomery's got a way worse O-line to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pairing. I like Montgomery. I mean, I had him in fantasy for a year or two, so I was inclined to like him a little more than some other running backs. But I think he's a good back. It'll be interesting to see how he operates in Texas. I mean, they needed a running back, and I mean, I think
Hmm.
he's a good choice. I don't know if he was the best choice, but it wasn't. It's not a great year for running backs, free agent running backs. Or I think there's a couple like ones like Jeremiah Love in the draft, but there's not a lot of options. So I suppose it was one of the better ones they could have made, but definitely gives Texans a spark. But like you said, the O line is going to be somewhat difficult for him to deal with. But I'm excited to see what he does. I think he can definitely. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he can do.
It might depend on if free agency or the draft the Texans try to fix their O line because it's kind of been an issue for a couple years. And obviously, looking at the divisional playoff, their QB situation is still in question, with people asking if CJ's really the guy. But you're right. I mean, Woody Marks wasn't going to hold the fort forever. He was okay, but nowhere near like permanent starter caliber. And Wash Nick Chubb wasn't going to do you much. And Joe Mixon, I guess, is dead or somewhere in the desert because literally he never came back. He had as weird of a situation last season as McCaffrey did 2 seasons ago, where it's like, what is going on with him? So yeah, I like this move for Houston, but again, they need to fix their line issues. And Montgomery too, we got to kind of see what he's going to be like as the full-time back. Maybe he'll split time with Woody, or David will get maybe like 60 to 70%, and Woody will come in every now and then, or Chubb will come in every now and then if they keep him. But Montgomery was kind of like a touchdown merchant, to be honest for you. It was 50-50 at first when they first drafted Gibbs, and then Gibbs took a little more over because he's more explosive, but he stayed consistent, Montgomery. So I like it for Houston, but I don't know what Detroit's really thinking here. I mean, Scruggs is a decent O lineman, but I don't think O line was a big issue for Detroit. And running backs, I mean, it's cool that they're giving the keys fully to Gibbs now, but they had a good relationship, the two of them, and they played solid and consistent. And as much as I like Jared Goff, sometimes in the big games or clutch situations, he hasn't been able to get it done. So, yeah, a little bit of a questionable move. I wouldn't say anything terrible, but kind of like oh man, you're breaking up the dynamic Sonic duo. How dare you, Dan Campbell and Lions management. But crazy that that's kind of the first big trade we have. On to other news. Tyreek Hill, not much of a shocker. This was kind of expected. Got released, I believe, a few weeks ago, and is still a free agent. I wonder where he's going to. Cheat. He's going back home because no other teams want him. Quinn, do you think anything different will happen, or do you think the obvious is going to happen with him?
Mm, I don't know. Part of me feels like the Chiefs won't bring him back. They already got a whole lot of drama in that wide receiver locker room. I think part of him is going to be like, do we really want another? Do we really want him back and causing more trouble? I don't know. I could see a reality where he doesn't go back, but it feels like the only teams that would want him would probably be the Chiefs just because of their shared history. But I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm
Uh,
trying to think of other teams that need receivers. I mean, would Buffalo really want him? Does New
Probably
England
not.
want him? Because Diggs is kind of a head case and he's got his own drama going on. I don't want him as a Steeler fan. I do not need to see him and DK in the same locker room. I don't know what else would really be a fit for him. I mean, obviously, I think most teams would like at least he's probably like a receiver 2 caliber now. I'm not sure if he could put up receiver 1 stats, especially for the fact that he's not going to come back till probably partway through the season. But it just feels like it's kind of all he has. I don't think a lot of people want a head case that's past his prime to join their team because, and people forget too, the best stats of his career were his early years in Miami. They weren't in Kansas City. I think he scored more touchdowns in Kansas City. I think he had like the most in his career, like 15 or something, is one of his final years there. But in terms of yardage, it was with Miami by far where he had more because Tua would just huck it down the field. He would either try to look deep for Tyreek, screw it, he's down there somewhere, or he would throw like a short pattern to him and he would just take off running. So just because, don't expect if he joins the Chiefs for it to be like, we're going to sing Kumbaya and it's going to be good and dandy again. No, because he's not going to come back, and Mahomes might not be back for the beginning of the season. And both Mahomes and Tyreek have struggled recently over the years. So, yeah, I guess bring the band back together because it's worked for Steelers. No, it hasn't. Anyway, speaking of receiver trouble, like Quinn mentioned, Rashee Rice. To go into specifics, his former girlfriend last month he's facing a civil lawsuit against her, alleging physical assaults between the past couple of years, 2023 and 2025. The lawsuit is that she's seeking at least $1 million. And just, again, a bunch of messed up stuff. They had legal issues 2 years ago, and it's resurfacing again. Chiefs fan, do you got anything about this? You shocked at all by any of this?
I'm ashamed of the time that we both said Rice when we were trying to get yards back in college.
Now it's jail instead.
Jail. Yeah, it's disappointing to see. I mean, he was a talented receiver. I mean, I don't know if anyone would argue top 10. I mean, maybe the 1 year, but still not a bad receiver. Good, not great, but definitely hurts for the Chiefs. I mean, the locker room's just like, oh look, it's a whole bunch of divas, and then one fast guy who's also kind of troublesome. Yeah, that's why I feel like, do you really want to bring Tyreek Hill in, substitute out one diva for another one that's past his prime? They need to get like a good, hardworking, like head down receiver. But
gee, what other teams facing these problems? I wonder who. I couldn't think of anybody else that's facing these receiver problems.
Actually, I'll quick mention while we're on that, George Pickens got franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my gosh.
And
shout out to our man, Ben Schwarber-Brand. We usually shout him out a lot. That he made a pretty funny skit about that.
Yeah, he's making $27.298 million for the 2026 season. I expected him to be mad, but there is a report apparently that George Pickens, according to Stephen Jones, the executive of Cowboys, he was quote fired. Quote, he was fired up that he wasn't going to be going anywhere. He was very fired up about his future with us. Basically, it seems like he was happy he didn't have to test free agency. But if this is true, which it seems to be, I expect him to be complaining about it, and probably during the regular season again. Because I don't know what this guy is, what he does, what he's on. I don't know, but it's weird. I was sure he's going to be like, maybe that's just Micah Parsons and C. Well, I forget if C. Lamb was so dramatic about the pay, but he certainly held out, and I believe Dak held out until like the day before the season. But Cowboys are a mess. But I'm just surprised Pickens isn't upset, to be honest.
I mean, I will say take the Joneses family's quotes for like, don't take them verbatim or don't like believe all of them. But this one I kind of do believe because after what he had to deal with in Pittsburgh from crappy coordinators and inconsistent QB play, I wouldn't be surprised if he was kind of happy to be with a consistent player in Dak. Why wouldn't you want to play for an elite receiver, CD? That only makes Pickens better. He by far
Yeah.
had his best season of his career, but it wasn't like elite. I feel like, listen, we want to dog on the Cowboys every day for the stupid moves they do, but this one to me makes sense. I feel like personality, weirdness or not, you got to keep him, and I feel like that's fair value for him for this year. Now, the following seasons where they're really going to have to make a decision, but for now, I feel like it's the right move. I mean, CD and Pickens clearly mesh well together, and Dak's the perfect QB for them, which it's crazy. It's going to be year 10 for Dak. That's how old we're getting. Yeah, I see no issues with it at all to me, but yeah, I feel like next year we might see more of the Diva and Pickens come out in terms of pay. But I just think he's happy to get the hell out of cold ass Pittsburgh and shitty coordinators calls where they just had him run verticals the whole time. The Cowboys coordinators actually have creative plays.
Yeah. While we're on the Cowboys subject, they did pay their running back Javonte Williams. They had him on a 1-year deal. He did pretty well. So they gave him a 3-year, $24 million deal, including $16 million guaranteed. So not a bad deal, especially running back wise. He did well, so I feel like he earned that this season. And then I'll mention too, while we're on the franchise tag kind of conversation, Falcons franchise tag Kyle Pitts. We'll be paying him $15.045 million for the 2026 season, which are Javonte Williams. I think he deserves that. Kyle Pitts, kind of funny that he's like, "Oh, great, I'll get to go to a team where I can play," and they're like, "Hey, nope."
I've never seen a dude coast as long as he has off of potential. Yes, statistically he's been better, but not by much. It's always this, oh, he's gonna be good. Oh, you trust me. He's gonna be good with Penix. You'll see. And we just haven't seen elite production from him. He's above average, sure. Way better than the Arthur Smith days, but still. Like, we need to see something out of him quickly.
Yeah. Otherwise, I only have 2 little bits of news. One is not really that interesting, but it's lineman. The Browns acquired Titus Howard from the Texans, which we mentioned. No, we did not.
Wow, Texans are getting rid of their bad linemen.
Yeah,
so they're doing funny, something.
But they're paying him giving a 3-year, $63 million extension. So interesting in exchange for a 5th-round pick. And then the Titans have traded for Jermaine Johnson from the Jets in exchange for defensive lineman T'Vondre Sweat. So, I mean, that's a little more interesting because Jermaine Johnson was a decently big name back at least like a year or 2 ago. And so it's interesting to see the Jets selling him off. We kind of expect Breece Hall to be going somewhere in free agency. We'll just have to wait and see what actually happens there. But Jets are going to jet, I don't know if that's a saying or not. But Dylan, you have any thoughts about those trades?
I'm just waiting for the day the Jets get Kyler Murray and try to literally do what they did last year, and it's going to be a disaster. But yeah, I'd say those are fairly decent moves by both teams. Like you said, Jermaine's was pretty good a couple years ago. Not as good last year, but still a solid name. So yeah, nothing too crazy. On to my piece of news. Last week's NFL Combine happened in Indianapolis. I saw a pretty cool video. Shout out again. We shout out this dude all the time too, Rich Eisen. I saw a cool video of some, I don't know if it was a TikToker or something. I saw it on Reels where he met him and said it's like a dream to meet him. He was his idol when he was a kid, which is a pretty cool moment. Asked for advice and Rich just said, be yourself. So good for them. Shout out to my cousin, too, who met Rich Eisen last year because he was at the Combine and they got to meet. That was a pretty cool moment. But I'll tell you what really stood out was that Aaron Glenn fell asleep at the Combine. The dude that had a defense that had no interceptions last year fell asleep during the Combine. And it got all caught on camera. That is wild. I think there was also, too, I don't know what they call this dude in the position, but the guy that blows the whistle for the 40-yard dash was getting like pissed at media and cameraman for being in the way. That was a pretty funny moment too. But in terms of players themselves, I definitely don't have this on Google Gemini because I was too lazy to look up the specifics of what happened. But what stood out was the tight ends and how athletic they are, because that's probably one of the only positions that is stacked this year. Oregon's Kenyon Sadiq ran a record 4.39 40-yard dash at 241 pounds, which is really impressive. Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt, they had a really good year last year. Also posted a 45.5-inch vertical. There's also some pretty good sub-5s from offensive line speed. 40-yard dashes are always usually entertaining to watch, especially the O-linemen when they're good. We had a 4.26 speed from Brendan Thompson, and edge rushers too, kind of like where the other, it would be the edge rushers and the tight ends are where it would stood out the most, and Malachi Lawrence, Dennis Sutton. So yeah, no like complete records were broken, and the draft isn't star-studded, I would say, this year, but there was some decent like athleticism, like I said, with the tight ends and the edge rushers, which, yeah, sometimes you expect them to like be decently fast, but some of the times for their size was pretty impressive. I think the vertical kind of impressed me the most from a tight end to have a 45.5-inch vertical. You don't see that every day. That means the jump balls, throw to Stowers, whoever drafts him. But yeah, it was pretty much that, and a coach falling asleep. Not a lot else. And that's no disrespect to Combine. I get why they do it. But it's not exactly something, too newsworthy unless we don't have an Xavier Worthy moment. That's good. I think that's going to be a long time before that record gets broken. So, yeah. Wild. Quinn, do you care at all to partake in the Combine? Or thoughts?
Well, it was a bad day for free safeties today, I suppose, when the announcer said that. But yeah, the free safeties are doing really well at the Combine. And so the Eagles, we have Reed Blankenship, who we were trying to decide if we're re-signing or not. But just for my Eagles stuff, it's not great for them because all these safeties as well. So the teams are going to be like, well, we could pay you. Or we can draft a new guy. I mean, this is one of the best free safety classes in a while, like 5 years. So watch out for safeties.
Hey, that's got to be the year for those odd positions to be star-studded this year. On to now the grades of NFLPA report cards. And I'll tell you, no shock that the Steelers got a D- because their facilities are too old and have needed to be changed for years. Commanders, it seems like they improved their rankings because they were ranked number 3. So
yeah,
I guess yeah, 3's not bad. Other teams that weren't good, the Cardinals did not have a great grade at all.
Worst,
I don't know much about them. The Cardinals are kind of a team that are just there to me. They're kind of just like the middle child of the NFL. Like you're there, but like we don't care much about you, just like the middle child. Cleveland's bad. That's the least shocking thing I'll ever hear.
Chiefs aren't so good. Neither are the Bucks.
Again, that's not a shocker too. The Chiefs facilities are just as old school. Their stadium's really old. That's why they're moving, which by the way, I don't think we were around for this news either, that they're moving to Kansas. They're moving all the way from Missouri to Kansas in like 2031. So good for you. But yeah, they've had a bad grade for a while. Tampa's was bad. Cincy had a pretty bad grade. New England's, weirdly enough, was bad despite their great season. But again, their stadium's pretty old. But the best teams, apparently somehow CTE man at QB himself and his team was the best. Miami's facilities, which I guess Miami, Florida, that city, they're probably going to be pretty innovative. The Vikings was 2. I mentioned the Commanders. Seattle's was at 4. Jags at 5. Yeah, just overall, like, I wouldn't say anything was shocking in the rankings, maybe other than, like, the Steelers being one of the worst, or Tampa's being bad kind of caught me off guard, but Interesting. Your Eagles are kind of in the middle, Quinn. They're kind of 20. Like, they're not terrible, but they're kind of they're average. So you're
What
better than my Steelers. So
what I noticed is interesting though is so the Eagles got for team ownership they got a B. Head coach they got an A. What? Who is ranking Nick Sirianni above Howie Roseman? Jeffrey Lurie?
Wow.
General manager's B as well. Who are these people? Why is Howie getting a B?
I don't know. I guess Sirianni's the leader of men. This was kind of talked about, I think, throughout the postseason, but now it kind of got public around February. The Chicago Bears are exploring a potential move to Hammond, Indiana. We don't know if that would happen or when that would happen, but it's looking more and more likely by the minute, which I will say their field, Soldier Field, has needed to be updated forever. That thing's been around since forever, since like the 80s or something. It's been around for decades. And I don't think Indiana, where they are, Hammond's that far of a drive from Chicago, from what I remember. It would be no different than like the Jets and Giants calling themselves New York and being in New Jersey, or the Commanders being in Washington, but they're really in Maryland. It wouldn't be that much of a difference, but it still kind of sucks they want to take it away from downtown Chicago and make them drive a little bit more. It's going to be weird, too, that the Colts got a partner now, if this happens.
Yeah, so it's a 39-minute drive from Chicago to the new town, at least, of Hammond. I don't know what location specifically, but it's 25 miles. But yeah, kind of weird. It's definitely just outside Chicago.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's horrible, but also you're not taking into account how awful Chicago traffic is. One of the worst cities in the country for traffic. So
yeah,
that would add into
just
that.
over the border. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll stay tuned to see what happens, but
I don't think it's anything like too major or big of a deal. But to Chicago people, I know they won't like it, especially now that their team's like doing good for the first time in ages, and now this news comes out. It's like a horrible timing.
22 miles from Soldier Field to the town. Again, I don't know where they would build it or what stadium, but 22 to 25-ish. Interesting. Very interesting.
Quinn, I got something for you in terms of that might make you rage a little bit. No really talk about the tush push being banned this offseason. I wonder why teams stop talking about that. I wonder if it's because a team isn't as effective as it. And maybe it applies to the conspiracy that's true, that teams were just big whiny poopy pants about that the Eagles were good at it, a.k.a. Buffalo and Green Bay. And now that they're not as effective, they don't care anymore. Why was this a thing last season? They finally were able to stop the tush push. I bet a lot of it has to do with like the O-line injuries you had and Kelsey retiring, because he was really the master of this. But yeah, this just ultimately proves completely right that the Packers and Bills are just salty that they weren't as good at it, which is funny because the Bills ran it more last year than any team in the league.
Yeah. Twice in the playoffs to win that first playoff game against the Texans too. Wild. Because other teams started using it with their tight end. I think the Steelers are one of them. Packers
don't
too.
get me started. We're terrible
maybe
at
the Packers. I think the Packers. But yeah, it's funny how all of a sudden the Eagles lose in the playoffs, and then they're like, you're gonna do that play? Oh, okay, well, interesting. Let me not do anything about it. Win the Super Bowl. Ban it, get it out of here. We don't want it. Sore losers. McDermott. It's a player safety concern. What does he do? Arguably most important, valuable player for the whole darn team. He's like, go out there and run it. Go out there and do it again. It's like,
yeah, not 100% Allen. Yeah, he costed his team the AFC Championship because they decided to do that sneak.
It's very interesting to see how it is. Very funny.
I will say, before we get to off-topic stuff, I do got to mention the international schedule, because they are going all across the globe. They are going to Paris. They're going to France this year. They're going to Australia, which is kind of cool. Melbourne, which is going to be the Rams and Niners there, which is a good matchup. No shocker, the Jaguars are in London. That's literally their second home. And the Cowboys are going to Brazil. So stay tuned, though. I like that, especially Australia and France. And then as well, they're going to stick to Germany and Spain. I like that they're expanding. I know it kind of sucks for travel, but it's a cool experience at the same time. I like that countries get to experience the NFL because they don't have that type of football. So it's cool.
Yeah, I like the Lions. I think have partnering rights or like advertising rights. One of like 12 teams in Germany. Because Amon-Ra St. Brown did a lot of fundraising there because his mom is from Germany, hence why he wears the German flag on his helmet. But yeah, it's cool to see other teams going over. I like it too. I think it's exciting. There's a game in France, more games in Germany, of course, and Australia. I mean, Eagles have a guard, quite good guard that came from Australia. So that's exciting. Anyway,
Yeah.
So yes, the off topic is the Winter Olympics. They just ended. The Paralympics are
Oh, yeah.
starting soon. I think they're starting maybe next week. I don't know, but Milana Cortina, the first time the Olympics have had two host cities. That was just a little ways apart. But the U.S. did very well. We broke a record with the most gold medals we've ever had. I think 11 was our highest before, and we tied that, and then we got 12.
America.
We ended in second place with 12 golds, 12 silvers, and 9 bronze, with a total of 33 medals. The country above us was
two epic hockey gold medals, with the women's winning in overtime after being down 1-0 against Canada, and then the U.S. winning 2-1. That one was an upset in overtime when we were getting outplayed the whole game, but managed to get it done at the end. Just two epic ways to win the gold for hockey. And yeah, plenty of other athletes stood out.
Yeah, I think it was funny that both hockey games were both U.S. versus Canada, both 2-1, both overtime too.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. But yeah, the only country that was above us was Norway. They had 18 gold, 41 total medals. They always do quite well, so that's not surprising. The Netherlands was third, 10 gold, 20 total medals. All of those medals for Netherlands were speed skating, which is really impressive.
Wow.
I think Jake Paul's fiance, Judah Leerdam,
I saw that.
she won, I think, 2 golds. But yeah. And then Italy came in fourth with 10 gold, 30 total. They're the host country, so the host country usually does well. They were in second for a while, but US edged them at the end. And then Germany was fifth with 8 golds and 26 total. I'll mention some of the US medals. We got 3 golds from freestyle skiing, and then 2 from speed skating, 2 from alpine skiing, 2 from figure skating, and 2 from hockey, as we know. Some of the big names this year, especially, were Jordan Stoltz. He's 21. He was a U.S. speed skater. I believe he's from Michigan. But he won the 2 gold medals for us in speed skating. He's a premier U.S. speed skater. So he's young, up and coming, wants to be a bright star. Our figure skaters, we had Ilya Malinin. He was supposed to be the favorite for winning everything, but he didn't do so well in his last routine and didn't end up winning. But I believe Uzbekistan got their first gold medal.
Still watch his highlights though, because he's insane. The stuff he
did a backflip.
Yeah. I would crack my back in half to try and do any of the stuff he does.
It's really impressive. Alyssa Liu, or girl, some call her the raccoon girl, which is kind of funny, but she got gold. She does really well. She skates, it seems like, just for pure joy of skating and not the competitiveness, which is really nice to watch. But we also had Amber Glenn and Isabella Lovito. They're kind of our trio of women ice skaters that did well. Our ice dancers got kind of cheated out of their gold medal, Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, and probably their last Olympics. So a little disappointing. They had a really nice routine, but yeah, we did pretty well there. We won the team gold.
Didn't a French judge, I'm pretty sure, give it to them, that duo?
Something like that.
Gee, little bias is there, isn't there? Huh.
Yeah.
The French judge scoring that couple way more than the other judges? Little
Yeah,
conspiracy there.
a little suspicious. Of course, you had the whole Canada cheating by poking the curling stone or whatever, and then you see all the memes, and
Oh my
I forget what
god.
country it was. I want to say it was like, I think it was like Sweden or Norway that set up a camera to watch the Canadians be like, they cheated, and the Olympic Committee is like, well, it's an unsanctioned camera, so we can't take the evidence. But I think it was Swedish were like, damn it, we always knew the Canadians are cheating, but we can't prove it. And so that was kind of funny. But now there's memes everywhere of like some Canadian guy reaching over, like poking something. So they're like,
Yeah, the
oh,
same
Canada
jokes.
wanted something, and they edit that in and just like, boop, nope, Canadians cheated. So that was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, definitely an entertaining Olympics. Definitely worth watching some of the highlights. Some great skiing too. Uh, one of our freestyle skiing medals came at like, we got silver, but like the guy did just as well as the guy in first place. So it was just a matter of what the judges, I guess the judges want to see in the future, and they rewarded one guy in his like creativity more than our guy's more traditional kind of sense. But it was like a record setting like last 3 runs, but it was really good to watch. So definitely recommend watching some highlights. Definitely a great time.
Oh yeah.
USA did pretty well. I love all the ads where it's just like a bunch of like rivals, and one of them was like Eagles Cowboys, and they're like, and then they're all watching the Olympics together, and drinking beer together and everything, and it
Shout
showed a
out
few
to
different rivalries.
Lindsey Vaughn too for being okay after a pretty devastating injury. She was already
Yeah,
going in with, I believe, a torn ACL and was still trying to gut it out and had a scary crash, but she's up and going again. So good for her. But it's good that like it seems like not just for her, but it seems like it kind of began with that devastating injury, but then the rest of the athletes, the skiers, the skaters, and everything from far and few between for the U.S. did amazing.
yeah. I think
Definitely
we
one of
had
the
our
more
biggest
must-watch
delegation.
Winter Olympics I've seen in a good bit. And maybe it's
I
selfishly
agree.
because this is one of the better performances by the U.S. in a while, but just fun in general.
Yeah,
Move up to
definitely a
that
great time.
summer and World Cup too. Can't wait for that in the
Yeah,
summer. That'll be fun, and hope your Germans don't win. But it's
yeah,
not like the
both
U.S. has a
coming
shot.
to the United States of America, so that'll be great. And then I think the
Let's
next,
just hope Spain doesn't win. They're the
yeah, the
favorites. It's
next,
anyone but them.
yeah, the next Winter Olympics is taking place in France, but after that, it's coming back to the U.S. in Salt Lake City, I believe. So we'll be having a
Yeah.
few more Olympics, which is exciting because Olympics are fun.
They're underrated type of fun. They're one of those, like, there'll be plenty of people, aka maybe the other gender, that doesn't like sports that much. But the one thing that they might tune in to watch is a lot of these Olympic sports. Skiing, figure skating, all like watching some of these are insane. Whether it's bobsledding, I don't know how people do that. I would be scared to death, especially the solo riders, or
Luge and skeleton.
like the I don't know what they call the like marathon type of skiing where you have to like climb. You got to basically like climb
Cross country.
up hills with this. Yeah, I think a cross country ski. And when they're done, they're like dead. They're because that they gave everything they had and their legs and everything gave out. I don't know how they do it. It's insane.
That reminds me. There's a moment. I think it was a cross country skiing match towards the end of the Olympics, and there was 3 guys all kind of around last place, and I think it was a U.S. guy, a Norwegian guy, and like an Italian guy, and so they all kind of slowed down for the last stretch. They all stopped, and they all like cringed at the end to try and get through and race for that last place. So that was a nice little moment, and it was funny watching the clip because then the crowd's like, "What are they doing?" The crowd starts going wild because they're all doing that final like last race, but I think the Olympics really it's nice because you see how all the Olympians kind of come together and between the countries and it kind of unites, which is really nice message too, especially in the world and everything going on
I agree. I definitely think in these times, anything like that, we definitely need it. And I'll say this too. I hate Jake Paul. I can't stand his ass. But even I was emotional and happy for him when he was crying when his wife won the Olympics. So that's when you know it's moving. When a dude that I despise gets emotional and he gets me in my feels. So good for her. But enough of that stuff because even though we're not doing any predictions, we are going to talk about what we're most hyped for in this upcoming off season and the season in general. So for vibes, I'm going to play the intro because it's my show.
You stink! Absolutely terrible, man. You're so stupid, it hurts.
Technically our show. I'll give you some credit, Quinn, but I control the intros. And I believe I'm going to keep this into a top 5 list in terms of top 5 things we are most looking forward to, whether it's the offseason, draft, or the season in general. And we'll each give our number 5, each give our number 4, and so on. I'm going to start with you, Quinn. And we're doing this off the cuff, by the way, so expect some thinking. But what's your number 5 for things you're most looking forward to or intrigued by?
So, I mean, I'm excited, of course, to see how my team is, but I'm not going to include any Eagles stuff because I'm sure we could both talk about the things we're excited for there. But I'm kind of interested to see what happens with some of the divisional winners because we had like the Seahawks win. Seahawks don't usually win the NFC West. Panthers don't usually win the NFC South. Bears don't usually win the NFC North. So it'll be interesting to see who actually starts winning these divisions, whether there's new kings in town. I mean, the Jaguars don't win the AFC East, really, or AFC South, sorry. Broncos, AFC West, because the Chiefs controlling that. Steelers, NFC North, that's happens sometimes. But it'll be interesting to see if we kind of pick up some old patterns, like the Patriots winning the AFC East. That change? Does that stay? Who's going to win the NFC East? Will the Eagles stay? Will Commanders come back? I don't know, but I'm excited to see how things will change, what the playoffs will look like next year.
For my number 5, I'll go more to a specific team. And trust me, Quinn, talk about excited for your Eagles. I am not excited about anything for my team after the coach we hired and what's probably going to happen. But for my number 5, because we all know this dude's going to get drafted and we all know where he's going. It's going to be how Mendoza and Clint Kubiak click with the Raiders. I am genuinely interested in that stacked of a division. If the Raiders can keep up at all with Mendoza, or if it's going to be some growing pains because, that receiver room, you don't want to look at that. They need to find some people. But I'm genuinely curious how Mendoza will do because besides maybe Ty Simpson, Mendoza's probably the only dude that's going to start week 1 for a team. And I'm generally interested if he will do good, if Genty will kind of bounce back from a rough rookie year that really wasn't, to me, his fault. His O-line was pretty trash. Yeah, I'm interested in this Raiders team this year with the new coach. And they're not just poor version of Seattle. They're actually an intriguing team.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic of the Raiders, my number 4 is Max Crosby. This is a little bit Eagles inspired because will the Eagles trade for him? Will we not? Dylan Phillips we have, but do we want to trade him? Do we not? Anyway, like I said, not really Eagles, but Max Crosby. Will he stay in Vegas? Will they trade him away for assets? Because they could probably get a decent haul for him. He probably wants out. He probably wants to play with a good team. The Raiders could use those resources to improve their team. So I don't think Kubiak's going to be afraid to get rid of him. So, especially because they didn't draft him. He's not the mushy type where he would keep players just because. So, where will he go? Will he go? Stay tuned.
Yeah, I don't think Max wants to deal with another rebuild. His whole career's been nothing but rebuilds. So, yeah, that's very interesting. Number 4, I'll just go with just in general, the state of teams that need quarterbacks. And it's kind of low at number 4 just because it's really not that interesting right now in free agency. What is there? There's Kyler, there's Tua, Kirk Cousins is going to get released. A whole lot of meh. Will Aaron Rodgers come back? Where he will go? Not a lot of amazing things happening. Apparently, I've heard the Vikings are interested in Tua. What? That is so asinine to me that they even want a piece of Tua. In my opinion, and this will be a hot take here because a lot of fans are kind of done with 9, but why would you try to go get someone else? There's not good people in the draft. No, I'm not. I wouldn't be interested at all in getting any of Tua, Kyler, and no, I would not bring Kirk Cousins back. I think you got to give McCarthy another year. He was hurt his first year. Yes, he was terrible his second year, and it looks bad that Darnold won a Super Bowl. But don't forget, Darnold kind of had an amazing team around him. I think the Seahawks had a lot more around Darnold than Minnesota did for him. And Minnesota was still good too, but Seahawks were a little bit better. So I say you give McCarthy, I'd say you could at least have him compete with someone, yes, but he should still be starting. That's just my hot take.
Yeah. Something I'll mention before mentioning my number 3 is this latest mock draft. I was just looking for a draft positioning for the Vikings. But they have the Tennessee Titans taking Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame. Like, why? The Titans have a lot of needs. They need to support Cam Ward. Why would they take a running back instead of like a weapon like a receiver or like a lineman, protect the quarterback? That's just kind of silly to me.
Gee, I wonder what receiver they could have had. Just curious.
Yeah, really. The Vikings are at 18. Anyway. What I'm excited about is a bit of a combo, both in the sense of what's going to happen to Breece Hall. I think he could be a really good running back. He certainly showed flashes. Will he go somewhere where he can actually be a great running back? He's not going to the Texans anymore.
Better.
Maybe the Cardinals. There's been a lot of talk about that, but I don't know. Let's see. And the second part of that, and it was Alec Pierce. He's less of a well-known name, but he's with the Colts. He's a kind of sneaky route runner. He can go for a deep ball, 50-50 deep ball. Has gotten much better this offseason. He opens up the middle of the field with the speed. With his best QB play, he played pretty darn well. He could still get tagged, but Pittman's kind of a question too for the Colts. Will he get traded? Will he stay? Colts don't have a first-round pick either. So this could, I don't know if they get a first-rounder, but if they can manage something like that, that would be great for them. He led the league in yards per reception. So when he goes somewhere like the Bills, he could be a number 1 receiver for them. I mean, opening up the field like that, that's something the Bills could definitely use. Probably draft a guy too, hopefully, higher up that can keep. But yeah, some interesting, lesser known names. Well, not Breece Hall, but Alec Pierce, definitely interesting.
Fans are going to hate this number 3. You'll like it, Quinn. But I'm generally interested if the Chiefs will be back. I'm generally interested if they'll bounce back to form, whether they go get Tyreek or they stick with the team. I'm interested in what the Chiefs are going to do about this disastrous 6-11 season that no one probably ever wants to mention again. I'm interested if this was like a fluke bad season and it's going to be back to Chiefs superiority, or if this is really a decline for them and if maybe they need to really start to rehaul. It seems like Travis Kelce's coming back. Like I said, they might be bringing the band back together. Andy Reid's kind of on the cusp of retirement, but still going to go out another season. I'm genuinely interested if the Chiefs, how they're going to be this season, coming off of a bad year. They haven't been bad in so long. They won their division for like over 10 years in a row. So this is the first time we'll get to see a real chance of a bounce back for them.
Yeah.
So there you go, Quinn. I'm feeding your ego.
Yeah, what's funny is I was about to mention the Chiefs as well. A bit of how will they do, but also who are they going to take in the draft? I mean, they have the 9th pick. That's the highest pick they've had in probably 5+ years. So what are they going to do? They could get a very good player. I mean, some people are mocking them taking a wide receiver like Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Others have, I believe, linemen as well. So they have a lot of choices here. What I think would be best for them, I mean, they could really use a receiver that isn't a diva. I think that should definitely be part of their scouting process. But I don't know. I don't know who they'll choose, but they certainly have a great opportunity here. So I'm excited to see that.
My number 2 is kind of a combo of people here, because for the love of God, can one of Burrow, Allen, or Lamar make a freaking Super Bowl? Please, I am genuinely interested in begging for one of those 3 to do something. Burrow hasn't made the playoffs in 3 years. Lamar just seems to be injury prone all the time, and has an MVP season one year and then inconsistent the next. And then Allen's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and never could get there. And now they fired their coach and lazily promoted their Joe Brady. I am interested, but also just like clamoring for something to happen for one of these teams, because the Patriots, I mean, they deserve to go to the Super Bowl, but they were weak. A weak AFC team to represent. Seattle blew the doors off of them. So one of these three eventually got to break out, and I'm interested if it'll happen and who it'll be that finally gets over the hump.
Or maybe someone will be traded. More so, the Burrow.
Burrow.
That's actually no. But it'd be interesting. I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to get out of Cincinnati. Yeah, he is. But yeah, my number one is just kind of general, but I am excited about it, is just the NFL draft itself. Who will the Eagles take? Who will we get? The whole first round is exciting. I haven't started looking deep into the draft yet. I'll probably do that after the combine ends, so we have a better grasp on everyone. But I really enjoy the NFL draft, seeing who goes early on and then who starts disappearing. If the Eagles can get another great trade in there, get another great player who kind of screws over who. And just the overall excitement of it.
I guess my honorable will be what you said. Maybe more specifically that the draft's in my hometown of Pittsburgh. Will I go in person? I'm trying to. I hope so. And it'd be a good time if I did. It's just the overall excitement of the draft. That's pretty hype for me. I'll give you two number ones, and one of them's kind of a cheating thing because it's my own team. But my first number one would be, will the Patriots get over this Super Bowl hangover of these constant teams that lose the Super Bowl are always terrible? I'm most intrigued by the Patriots because everybody called them frauds. Everyone said their schedule's easy. Their schedule's much tougher next year. Will they prove people wrong? Will they go get your boy A.J. Brown and break your heart, or get some receiver? Can they
He's not going
prove
nowhere.
the fans wrong? Can they prove the fans wrong? I don't know, but I'm genuinely curious if they'll get over that Super Bowl hangover of a lost team that the past few years, it's kind of a curse to be a team that loses the Super Bowl because you're guaranteed to be awful the next year. So that interests me. And I'm sorry, Quinn, I have to cheat just because it's an intrigue. And I guess I could let you cheat too, what you're looking forward to in your team. I am interested, maybe not in a good way, but if they're going to bring Aaron Rodgers back and what the quarterback situation is without him, because I'm dreading that they're going to bring him back and run it back. And there is a genuine intrigue of like, can him and McCarthy recreate that magic together? I don't know. But if it's not Aaron Rodgers, I'm really intrigued what they're going to do. Are they going to draft Ty Simpson early in the first round and make a jump and try to get him? Is somehow Will Howard the guy? I've been hearing Malik Willis as a big name to get signed somewhere. I wonder if we'll be one of those teams. I know it's cheating, but I don't care. Like I said, it's my show. It's the Steelers QB room. And it's like that every year. It's always a question mark. So go ahead and do one for your team, because I'll let you cheat too.
Thank you. Yeah, probably just Sean Mannion going to be good. Well, there's certainly a lot of excitement about him being, this whole new offensive scheme. Players are talking about it. I'm excited to see it, and the whole West Coast kind of offense, and all these kind of great minds he's studied under. Well, just played under too. But I'm excited to see how he turns out, what kind of offense we have, because if we have a great offense, we saw it 2 years ago, Eagles could go all the way. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited about Eagles-wise.
You know that trend, Quinn. You're the every 2 years team. You're like the Giants in the MLB of the NFL when they won every 2 years. It's always a bad wild card loss, Super Bowl. Bad wild card loss, Super Bowl. And now we're reaching that 2 years. It's trending like it could be another Super Bowl. So
I hope so.
I hope not. But that's going to do it here for unorthodox, different, but good edition of the DQ Frenzy. And Quinn, we talked about this before the show, but talk about an announcement in terms of a different little format for this podcast.
Yeah, so we're gonna be uploading some new content. We won't talk too much about it, but we're gonna see about some more traditional YouTube style videos, and then maybe some more shorts, interactive shorts between both of us, and maybe some games we play. So NFL games, of
Stay
course.
stay tuned. Stay tuned. And again, apologies for the month-long hiatus. We are here for the long haul. We're going to be consistently posting again from now on. We promise. Whether it's one of us or it's both of us, because who knows if Quinn's going to need more teeth pulled out or sick again. But
Hopefully not.
thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great week, and we will see you here, most likely, I promise, next week.
Bye, guys.